Good morning and welcome to the internet's only live daily housing show exclusively on BAM. The Hot Sheet covers what you need to know about the real estate industry in a 24-hour time period. On today's Hot Sheet, I will discuss early June housing data and an updated forecast from Fannie Mae, plus why office conversions are so complex and this morning's latest jobs report different from yesterday's. Today is Friday, July the 7th, 2023. I am Byron Lazine, and the Hot Sheet starts now. Having a little issue with the microphone here, battling me, Cooper, like an arm wrestling competition against this microphone arm. I hope everybody's having a great Friday morning, feeling good coming into this July weekend. Let me know on the live chat which market you are tuning in from, and let's jump right into early data on the June housing market. This is from Calculated Risk newsletter. Bill McBride, who runs the newsletter, he tracks about 40 markets. Some of the 40 markets are complete state. Some are metropolitan areas. So he kind of dives down into more local data. I'm going to go through the local data that he's got available so far. We're just early into July. So obviously June, these are really early June numbers. Case Shiller's numbers won't come out, for 30, 60 days out when we're talking about June, really 60 days out when we're looking at June. So this is early data. Love to know if you're in one of these markets that I'm going to address, what your thoughts are. So let's take some local comments first that Bill's curated from a couple MLSs. First, from the Northwest MLS. Anybody from the Northwest MLS here in the live chat? Let me know if you're part of that MLS. Demand keeping inventory in check as buyers compete over low inventory. Okay. Now, obviously, we saw demand drop down to the lowest point in over a month. When it comes to mortgage demand, we talked about that yesterday on the stream. It's down over 4% week over week. I've got a take on that buyers are quitting and they're not applying for a mortgage when there's nothing to look at. So I do believe that doesn't tell us the whole picture of demand, that there is demand backing behind that, sitting on the sidelines. Okay, the latest Northwest MLS report shows the number of active listings of single-family homes and condominiums statewide is down nearly 21% from June 2022. So 10,607 versus 13,405 for single-family homes, excluding condos. Year-over-year inventory is down about 22.4%, while condo inventory declined 9.2%. Pending sales for June totaled 7,700 plus. That's a decline from May's total of 8,100 plus, down about 4.4% from a year ago, total of 8,900 plus, down about 13.2% on the year over year. So that's pending sales. Northwest MLS, last month, 6,800 plus closed sales marked the largest number of closings since September. Okay, but compared to June 2022, the volume was down 24%. I see that in almost every market where the volume of closed transactions is about 25% less year over year. When you look at almost any market, let me know if your market's, different from that. Let's say that, around 25% number. That's kind of the rule of thumb that I see across most markets. Las Vegas Realtors, LVR, reports local home prices stable to start the summer. Okay, so here's some statistics from Las Vegas Realtors. Reported the median price of existing single-family homes sold in Southern Nevada through its MLS during June was $440,990. That's down 0.3% from May and down 8.1% from $480,000 in June of 2022. So Las Vegas, one of those markets where we've actually seen price appreciation go down. Okay, local home prices and prices overall go down, not just the appreciation. Local home prices had been increasing in recent months, but are still below all-time record of 482 set in May of 2022. By the end of June, LVR reported 3,680 single-family homes listed for sale without any sort of offer. That's interesting. 3,680 single-family homes listed for sale without any sort of offer. You wouldn't see that in the Northeast right now. I'm not sure if that you'd see that in your market, but that's an interesting sign for things to come in the Las Vegas market. It's up 1% from the previous month, but down 36% from the same time last year. Likewise, the 930 condos and townhomes listed for sale without offers in June represented 0.5% increase from May, but that's a 30.6% decline from a year earlier. Okay, so let's look at some active inventory numbers. Denver was up 94% year over year. That's a big number. Okay, inventory has surged in some of these markets. Vegas up 134% year over year in June 2022. Now it's down 35% year over year. Okay, so a huge change there in Vegas. Denver unchanged. That 94% year over year from June 22 and now is unchanged. All right. Let's just look at some of these, dive into some of these different local markets here. Active inventory, June 2023. Denver over 6,000. Just in May, so we're up month over month, 5,200 plus. June 2022, very similar number to today, right? So year over year, Denver is flat, but month over month, up 16.1% for Denver. Las Vegas, month over month flat, but year over year, down 35% for Las Vegas. Nashville is up 30% year over year, month over month, 2.5%. The Northwest is down 20.9% on inventory year over year, month over month, up 16.8%. San Diego down over 26% year over year, month over month, they are up 12%. Okay, so out of these markets, you've got very different, Nashville, the complete opposite of what's going on in the Northwest, right? Year over year, Nashville's inventory has jumped up. The Northwest has jumped down. And then month over month, you've got almost flat for Nashville and a big increase for the Northwest, right? So each market right now reacting different from one another on this inventory issue. Overall, we talked about this on Wednesday's stream. If you miss it, you can go back and listen. We're also we're going to dive into it, myself and Lisa Chinati, today on Knowledge Brokers podcast, where we're going to go a little bit deeper on this inventory. Year over year negative for the first time this year in the country. We went year over year negative. So not the case for all markets though, right? Nashville, if somebody's reading that national headline, that inventory year over year is in the negatives, well, Nashville, they're up 30.4%. Super important to really break down the macro into the micro on every local market. New listings for June 2023. Denver is down year over year 27%. Everybody's down on this, basically. I haven't found a market that isn't down on new listings. We are trending at the all-time low for new listings, and Denver is down 27% year over year. Las Vegas is down 42%. Northwest is down 33+%. San Diego 41.6%. Total out of these four is down 34.7%. This sign, this just continues with where we're at on the 30-year fixed. Okay. 30-year fixed, by the way, yesterday, if you were paying attention yesterday, I put it out on Threads. If anybody's on Threads, you can that was a crazy thing yesterday. But if you're on Threads, you can find me at Byron Lazine, of course. But I put it out on Threads that yesterday we hit the highest 30-year fixed mortgage read of the year. Okay, so we came in at 7.22. Let me go to my old thready here. I think it was 7.22 yesterday marked the highest single day read for the 30-year fix in 2023 so far on July the 6th. 7.37 was the peak in 2022. Okay, so this new listing issue continues the more we get the more we get an interest read that sits up over 7%, and certainly it is going closer and closer to the peak of 2022. We weren't expecting this. We weren't forecasting this for the summer when you're supposed to actually when deals are going down naturally, but the forecast was that the rate would be coming down with that. All right. So closed sales for June 2023, everybody's down 19 plus percent. Denver down only 13.7% in Vegas and in Nashville 13.9%. That's pretty good. Those are good numbers compared to what I'm seeing in most parts of the country. 24.4% in Northwest, 26.4% in San Diego, so down 20.4% total there on total closed sales. Okay. So that's an early look at some of these markets. Love to know again if you're on the replay or if you're here in the live chat, what's going on your in your particular market. Fannie Mae has a projection for the market. What's next for the housing market is told by Fannie Mae's latest forecast. This is a Lance Lambert piece in Fortune. The U.S. housing market is defying earlier projections of significant national home price declines, and that's according to Fannie Mae. They were in the camp of significant declines when they first forecasted for this year. And so just this past week, they released a revised housing forecast, which projects that national home prices measured by Fannie Mae Index will decrease 1.2% in 2023, followed by an additional 2.2% in 2024. But back in February, Fannie Mae had predicted that they would fall 4.2% this year and another 2.3% dip. We are seeing more signs. We just had that first year-over-year read for home price decline a couple weeks ago. We are seeing month-over-month home price increases, but we are seeing more signs that if transactions continue to just grind down to nothing and the interest rate sitting up over 7%, that we could see an end of the year where we have multiple months of year-over-year home price declines. But these are really small numbers. I think anybody that gained 40% on their home appreciation in the last couple of years is fine with a 1.2% decrease in 2023. Not going to bother them. I can't get with Fannie Mae on their 2024 forecast where they think all of 2024 home prices are going to go down. Most of the forecasts show us that going into 2024, we're going to be in the fives on the 30-year fix. We get into the fives, we're going to see a lot of movement. The golden price right now, the golden number right now for builders, if they can buy down the mortgage rate for a buyer to 5.5%, they see a lot more transactions. They see a lot more demand at 5.5%. People are willing to sell their house to go and obtain 5.5% 30-year fixed on the new home. Less so at 6.5%, even less at 7%. So if the forecasts of 2024 are right, where we get 7%, we get into the fives and get closer to 5.5% on the 30-year fix. Doesn't look like that the last couple of weeks. I get that. But if things start turning around in that sense, I would expect a lot more activity in 2024. I would expect spring 2024 to be a lot more robust than the spring that we just went through. What was that there? What just happened here? We just went here. There we go. Who's doing that, Curry? Is that you? What is going on here? I don't know what's going on with our screen right now. I don't know if what the heck is going on. You don't know? All right, let's try this again. There we go. There we go. I don't know if that's Bobby over in Long Island trying to get creative, but that was not creative, Bobby. If that was you testing something out here mid-show. Here's Fannie Mae's latest forecast. We're going to drop this down below in the daily download. All you got to do is click join me in BAMX. You get all of the daily downloads from this show. You get all of our courses, all of our live streams, and our private group. It's where the best content in the real estate industry is. We're not ripping you off like legacy real estate media companies either, where we're just charging you to see, panels that, we're at a prior event. We're actually giving you real value, showing you how to be a better agent, sell more homes, and be a better marketer. And this is where Fannie Mae expects U.S. home prices to go through 2024. I would disagree, but it's worth noting, as all of these forecasters are worth noting and comparing to one another. All right. There you go. That's Fannie Mae's prediction. And one of my predictions is seemingly now being validated. I've been saying this for a while. So we've got an office building, commercial building, office building crisis here in the U.S. I think it's just beginning. We talked about the Wall Street Journal report. I think it was a study from Columbia or somewhere. The Wall Street Journal reported that office buildings in New York City would decline by 44% in value by 2029. We've talked about that on a previous stream. Again, I think it's just beginning. A lot of these regional banks are holding these office loans, and offices are empty. I'm sitting in a over 4,000 square foot office today, and I'm looking out there. We've got our little BAM studio here in my Connecticut team office. There's 50 agents, 1099s, and there's not one of them out there, by the way. Doesn't mean we're not selling home. Sold over 700 homes out here, but there ain't one of them out here. There's W-2 employees here. That's it, right? And so a lot of offices look like this. They're just empty. They're vacant. Okay. And so a lot of and this is a bigger issue in big cities where you've got huge office buildings and they're all empty. Doesn't and so these companies are waiting for these leases to run out because they're not going to renew them because nobody's using the office space. So there's been a lot of thought out there of, well, why don't we just convert office buildings into residential? And I've been saying, not going to happen. Okay. If you can't get people to come into the office, how are you going to get them to live in the office? Okay. You like that, Cooper? You like that one? How are you going to get them to live in the office? You can't get them to come into the office. Here's the thing, right? In the cities where these office buildings are, people don't want to be in that part of the city, right? Because they're not working there. So a lot of the restaurants and that kind of thing are going to different parts of the city, but that they would come back if people were living there. My whole thing is this isn't possible because it's very cost prohibitive to be able to do that. And in Bloomberg today, New York property developer explains why converting offices to apartments is so complex. There's a paradox facing major cities in the US. It's that these offices are sitting empty. The obvious answer is this to this property puzzle is converting. I don't think it's the obvious answer. I think it's very difficult, and this developer says such. In the latest episode of Odd Lots podcast, Joey Chilelli, managing director of Van Barton Group. Joey Chilelli sounds like one of those old movies there. An investment firm that specializes in New York real estate explains the limitations facing would-be office to residential developers. Even before pandemic, Van Barton was transforming old offices into apartments, including the landmark 180 Water Street development that has created 573 unit apartment complex out of the 1960s office building. Now he's working on another conversion next door to 160 Water Street. Okay, so number one, zoning restrictions. You got to get through zoning restrictions. Now, New York will flip those. A place like New York, where they're going to lose so much tax money, I think they would flip the zoning restrictions because they're already losing migration. Outbound migration is greater than inbound migration in New York City. 20% of the revenue in New York City is tied to these commercial buildings. So if they had to flip the zoning restriction, they would. But number two, this is where it gets impossible. Structural complexity. Not all buildings are conducive for repurposing. Okay, ceiling heights. Are they above 8 feet? Is there enough access to light? What about the plumbing? Do you got to reorg all the plumbing in the building? These are all necessary considerations for whether or not building can be a candidate for conversion. You're carving out the residences, but you're also reinforcing the structure with more steel, carving out residences, plumbing, ceiling height, all of these things, electrical, cost big money, which means that these properties that are being converted, these buildings that are being converted into residential living are going to be what? Luxury. What do we have too much of already? A luxury. And the new homes being built are an average of $550,000 price point. We already have a glut of multifamily coming on the end of quarter three, quarter four. Guess what most of it is? Luxury price point. Guess what we need in this country? We need, according to Zillow, over 4 million, according to other numbers, between 2 and 7 million of affordable units, not more luxury. Okay. But according to Chilelli, it only takes a few hours to make the initial judgment on buildings suitability. That's interesting. I would think it would take a little longer than that, a few hours. Geez. What's he walk around with a cigarette and pen and a pad and just figure this thing out? That said, creative workarounds are possible to conversion to 180 Water Street, involving cutting an atrium into the core of the building to create more windows and airflow. But making major structural changes is tough, requires skilled contractors who may be in short supply and obviously lots of money. Number 3, high project costs. Okay. We've done this a while, so you know what it'll take to convert a building. So if that basis is 500 a square foot and it's going to cost you 500 to convert, you're looking at $1,000 a foot. $1,000 a foot. So that's a hefty price to just do the work. $1,000 a foot. You know, if you're going to go sell the property at say 1900 square feet, 1,000 a foot, I mean, you're talking millions of dollars here on these units. So, I just don't see this being viable. I've been saying this for a long time, and here's one developer finally in Bloomberg saying the same thing. All right, we had a jobs report today. We had one yesterday. Yesterday's was explosive. And here's the update today. Obviously, the FOMC is going to be looking at this closely as they lead into their July 25th, July 26th meeting. And the fight against inflation. Payrolls rose by 209,000 in June, less than expected as job growth wobbles. Okay. Employment eased in June, taking some out of the steam out of this strong labor market report yesterday. So that's decent news here for the Fed. Non-farm payrolls increased 209,000. The estimate was 240,000. Good. We want at or below estimate, not like yesterday's number, which was way above estimate. Okay. When companies added 490,000 jobs in June versus a estimate in the 200s. Okay. The unemployment rate was 3.6%. That also came out this morning. All right. So there's your update on the jobs, 2 big jobs report, one from yesterday. You can go back and re-listen, and one from today that the Fed is watching closely. What I'll be watching closely today is what this 10-year does, and it continues to show signs of staying above 4%. Continues here to go up. All right, we're increasing here. We're at 4.055. We did have a weird decline when that jobs report. That's when the jobs report came out right there. It was overall good news. And we did get under 4%, or just at about 4% almost when the jobs report came out, and then it shot back up. Okay, so we're back up on the 10-year. We'll see where it goes throughout the day, how investors feel about the information they've received today. Yesterday was not a good day, as the 30-year reacted to the 10-year and went up to 7.22. Again, the highest single-day read in a year. And Freddie Mac came out with their 30-year fixed weekly survey for the July 6th yesterday, and that was at 6.81. It was 6.71 just 7 days ago. So not good on the 30-year fixed. All right, if you want some a recap of this week here, and myself and Lisa Chai will be digging deep, Knowledge Brokers podcast, go over to that channel, subscribe. We've got the pod coming out later this afternoon at about 2 o'clock. If you haven't done so already, join me in BAMX. It's by far the best content in the real estate industry. All the daily downloads from the hot sheet, links down below. Love to see you in there. I think I'm going live Sunday, by the way. So love to see you in BAMX. Hope everybody has a great Friday, an awesome weekend. And until Monday, toodaloo.